So now let your testimony go enter. Don't need to back down, you are there, your matter. All things are working, tomorrow will be better. Give him the praise now, there's a miracle with your name on it. Hey. There's a miracle, there's a miracle, there's a miracle with my name on it. There's a miracle, there's a miracle, there's a miracle with my name on it. Jesus, a miracle, there's a miracle. I can feel it, there's a miracle. I can see it, there's a miracle with my name on it. There's a miracle, there's a miracle, there's a miracle with my name on it. Now me go laugh first, now me go still laugh last. I no go suffer, now your mercy sure pass. I know fit gon' last, Holy Ghost now my standby. There's a miracle with my name on it, amigo. Now me go laugh first, now me go still laugh last. I no go suffer, I no go suffer. Hey. Now your mercy sure pass. I know fit gon' last, Holy Ghost now my standby. There's a miracle with my name on it, amigo. Now me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to No Conference 2026. My name is Odo Priscilla, and I've been your moderator from day one, and today is day 4. And the past 3 days has been so exceptional from all the speakers from day 1, day 2, day 3, and today too we have power-packed speakers who are going to be delivering. So the question is this: have you been learning? Have you been practicalizing what you've been learning? Or you're just watching and you're just taking notes and nothing has been happening? Someone said something. The moment you stop learning, that is when you stop growing. And the illiterate of the 21st century is not someone who does not know how to read and write. It's someone who does not learn, relearn, and unlearn. So this No Conference 2026 should be that no conference that you learn something, you grab something. And at the end of this No Conference 2026, I am waiting for your testimony because it promises to be power packed. Share, like, subscribe, rewatch again, learn, ask questions. Because at the end of this No Conference, I do not want you to go home with just that notebook that is full again. There should be an impact in No Conference 2026 for you. Today is yet another day. And like I said, if you have not liked, you've not subscribed, you've not followed us on any of our socials, please do that as soon as possible. For the sake of emphasis, who are we and what is this all about? The No Conference is brought to you by answering tough questions from children and teens, ATQ for short. We are a growing community of parents, carers, trusted and safe adults with its presence on WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. Our main objective is to ensure that children and teenagers get the right, correct, and appropriate answers to their questions, and to ensure that parents, carers, and safe and trusted adults are equipped to give the right answers and have meaningful conversations. This we achieve through our monthly webinar, How We Do It, where we learn and share our monthly book reviews and offering answers, suggestions, and solutions to questions sent to the community. So if you have not liked, you've not subscribed, you've not invited a family or a friend to know what is happening in No Conference, please do that as soon as possible. Today we have a speaker who is here already and he's going to be delivering as usual. Before then, I know Mrs. Obuko has one or two things to tell us before the speaker comes on stage. Good evening, man. How are you doing today?
All right, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Good evening, everyone. Can I be heard?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining once again today. I'm so excited to have you here, and thank you so much for everyone who has been here from the first day, whether you have watched the replay or you participated live on the session. God bless you. I believe that this 4 days, this past 4 days, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, past 3 days have been amazing. You've gained a lot of knowledge, you've heard from expertise, there's been a mindset shift, and you are learning so much. And I trust God that we will not just learn, we will put into practice the things we have learned. We will grow together. Thank you so much, Reverend Cosme. Says looking to another great time of learning. We are hearing you loud and clear. Thank you so much, sir. So welcome everybody. This is no conference, and like I say, it's a banquet of knowledge. We are not just bringing, we are bringing from different perspectives because we want our children to shine in all areas of life. We are raising balanced children, and we want our children to live healthy. So this today, Friday, we are having another three power packs, and we are starting with the impact of sports in raising shining lights. The impact of sports in raising shining lights. Why do my children need to participate in sports? And I'm so excited to bring to us, this is his first time in no conference, to bring to us my son's coach, my son's martial arts coach, to come speak to us about sports and the importance of sports. In fact, at the time, he was also my coach, but I wasn't a good student. I wasn't really a consistent student. Let me report myself before he reports me online. So, thank you everyone once again for being here. And then 6 p.m. we are talking health. We are talking health. And then 8 p.m. we are talking about the special children growing with special needs. Please don't say none of these sessions concern you. Every session here concerns you. I want to say a special thank you to every grandparent. I've been told that some grandparents have been on this. To every grandparent who who is attending no conference. To every empty nester, your children are all grown and gone, but you are still learning. God bless you. So if you are young like me, I don't know what excuse you have, or you have young children in your house and you are not in no conference, or you know one and you have not invited them to come to no conference, even if the woman is a TTC or the man is a TTC, tell them to come and join no conference. There is something to bless them in it. There's something for them to learn. Share the button. Just click on the share button. Share and invite everybody, your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, your school principal, head teacher, everybody that needs to come and learn. Please invite them to be a part of this conference today. There's so much to learn, and let them also know that they can get the replay of every other session they have missed. Once again, thank you for being here. I trust God that we are going to be having a very impactful 3 sessions this evening. God bless you. Over to you, Sister Priscilla.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. Like she said, share, like, subscribe. And before we invite our speaker, we're going to be playing a very short biography of our speaker this evening.
EGHOSA. EGHOSA has a strong background in information technology and passion for leadership, strategic business management, and administration. With over 14 years of combined professional experience in business development and strategies, financial management, coaching, learning and development, he has established a reputation for delivering exceptional results in managing and overseeing complex corporate and individual operations. After completing his undergraduate degree in library and information technology, he discovered a newfound fascination with the fields of life coaching, learning and development, and personal development. Driven by a desire to deepen his knowledge and expertise in these areas, he made the deliberate decision to further specialize and pursue advanced training. EGHOSA embarked on an extensive journey of self-improvement, immersing himself in relevant coursework and hands-on practical experiences. Through this dedicated pursuit of knowledge, he gained a profound understanding of the principles and methodologies underlying effective life coaching and holistic personal growth. Recognizing the value of formal credentials to validate his expertise, EGHOSA proactively sought out and completed a series of specialized certifications in life coaching, as well as related disciplines such as emotional intelligence, mindfulness, and transformational leadership. This multifaceted approach allowed him to develop a truly comprehensive skill set, equipping him with the tools and insight necessary to guide individuals on their personal journeys. Today, EGHOSA leverages his extensive education, training, and real-world experience to serve as a highly sought-after life and living coach, taekwondo instructor, language instructor, and spiritual guide. Known for his unique and holistic approach to personal development, he is passionate about empowering people to overcome challenges, embrace their strength, and live purposeful, fulfilling lives. EGHOSA holds a 7th degree black belt in Taekwondo and is the founder and chief executive of CZ Integrated Limited, CZ Learn Limited, and CZ Taekwondo Academy, all dedicated to creating unique and lasting legacies for both businesses and individuals. Welcome EGHOSA IDUOZEE as he speaks on the topic, the impact of sports in raising shining lights.
Our speaker's biography is a little bit scary. Black belt holder. Jesus Christ. Good evening, Sao. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
Can you
Good
hear me?
evening. Yes, I can.
Welcome.
I hope you can hear me
All
too.
right. Yes, the stage is all yours.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. My name is EGHOSA IDUOZEE. I will be talking this evening on the impact of sports in raising shining lights. I hope we can we hear me? Okay. All right. So first of all, who is a shining light? That's the first thing I would like us to look at. There are lights and there are lights that are shining. So from the biblical standpoint, a shining light is one that is set upon the hill. And who is this hill? The hill is Jesus Christ himself. And he said in his word that no man lights a candle and put it under a bushel. You must bring this candle to this mountain, this hill. And so we'll be looking at sport as one of these hills where light shines. Now, to further continue with this, I would like to differentiate between exercise and sports. Just this morning, I saw a material and sport was the number 19th on the highest income for people. So sports competitors and athletes are number 19 when it comes to the hierarchy in earning in America. But a lot of parents, like when we were growing up, you go and play football and you come back, you know what awaits you at home. But I thank God that these days that parents are beginning to understand that it is not just all about going to school. There are other things that children need to be engaged in. And to be honest with us, we have made the mistake of thinking that intelligence has to do with books alone. Intelligence does not have to do with books. There are people that are intelligent with dancing. And I can tell you from experience, I have been doing Taekwondo for over 34 years. And I've had the opportunity to train a lot of people. And I have seen over time that there's some people that you just teach them once and they pick the move. Some people, it will take you months to teach them to be able to perform a move very well. And so today we'll be looking at this sporting thing. How does it affect children? How does it touch the lives of children? Sport is different from exercise. Exercise is following a particular pattern for yourself, a particular routine. But for sports, we have plans, we have roadmaps. For example, for Taekwondo, you start with a white belt. From white belt, you go to a yellow belt, and you continue to go from one level to the other. And some people think that when you get to a black belt in Taekwondo or any martial art, that is where it stops. But to be honest with you, that is where it actually starts. Because you have your first degree black belt, you have your second degree black belt, you have your third degree black belt, until you get to the 9th degree black belt, which is the highest for anybody alive. For anybody to be given a 10th degree black belt, it's a posthumous black belt for somebody that has lived his life and has passed on to glory. So they honor the person with a 10th degree black belt. So now, how does this affect children? Now, when a child is born, empty, the child is like an empty bag. What you put in this bag is what this child will travel with. And so when a child is born, a child is an empty slate. How do we start training this child? Sometimes you discover that some children, after the mother breastfeeds them, the mother needs to pet the child for the child to sleep. If you put the child on the ground, the child starts crying. Some of us think that this is how the child is wired. No, this is how you have trained the child. The first 3 things you do to the child when they were born becomes a habit to this child. Sometimes you see child, when somebody carries the child and the child is crying and you are wondering, why is this child crying? It's not that the child is able to recognize, but at that point, their sense of smell is very powerful. And this child sees, oh, this smell is unfamiliar, and they start to cry. I am not familiar with this smell. So now we now understand that you have a major role to play in the forming of your children. It is very, very pertinent for us to understand how children grow. And by age 6, the personality of a child is fully formed. What we start to work on is character. So I always recommend that every child that wants to go into sport is good they start at age 3. Every other age is okay, but from age 3, you still have the opportunity to shape some particular personality of this child. So how do we do this? One of them is sports. And that's where I'm going to be anchoring my talk this evening, sports. What is sports? Every sport, number one, they have time. Sports teaches children time management. I have made it a duty for my children that when they come in late, there is a particular exercise. It's more like a punishment, but it's an exercise for them. So because of that, I teach them time management because of sports. So they know when to come. Sometimes they go and meet their parents. We have to go for class. We don't need to be late. When we get late, coach will punish us. Time management is very important for children. Many of us parents these days, we don't know how to manage time. And the scale of task scheduling, there's what we call urgent and important, urgent, not important, important and not urgent and not important. So you schedule task. I tell them when you get back home on this Friday already, my bag is packed already for tomorrow's training. So you also do that. Your uniform must be clean. Your uniform must be ironed because our uniform is white and it must not be dirty. So I'm also teaching them how to be neat. So responsibility is part of what sports brings to children. Now, for every sport, we have role models. I will not be mentioning names particularly as I go to the next point of the impact of sport, and that is character formation. There are people, one of the former heavyweight boxer, he used to have issues with gangs and all that. He was going into prison and coming out. And the mother saw that this person, we can channel his energy. And the mother enrolled him in a boxing class. And that's how he became a boxer. I'm not going to mention name because it's just stories that we've been hearing. I've not heard from him, so I won't say this is it, but that's the story about him. And he became a two-time heavyweight champion in boxing. There are so many others. Bruce Lee, for example, we've heard of his story, how he was harassed on the street, and that's how he got into Kung Fu, and he became one of the greatest martial artists of all time. Now, it is sports that he got into, and there are other areas that sports can take you into. Sport can take you into content creation. As a matter of fact, every martial arts, I'm going to go into other sports, but I'm particular about martial art, permits my bias because that's my area of specialty. Every martial artist has a little bit of knowledge about human anatomy, and you can also go into health. At the end of your career, you can learn how to manage the human body and all that. It is part of the career path for martial artists. It is not just competition alone. Now back to character development. This person has become a world champion because he has a role model. He was looking up to this person. So sports gives you the opportunity to model people and follow after their footsteps to become like them. There are pathways in sport. When it is exercise, you just do it to keep fit and you go. There's no career path for you. But when it comes to sport, there is a career path for every one of us, whether children or adults. But I'm going to stick to children because we are talking about the impact of sport in raising children. I've seen situations. Recently, I was asked to come and start a taekwondo club in a school. And I've had two experiences with two different children, and it has informed me how I'm going to train them. The first one came to me, greeted me, "Good afternoon, sir." And she introduced herself. "My name is this. Please, sir, I would like to join the taekwondo club." I was so impressed because one, she was able to introduce herself to me, and I know how to train her. The other one came, that was on Wednesday, just this past Wednesday. And what she said was, "How are you?" So I smiled and I asked her a very simple question, like the African man that I am. "Are you supposed to ask me how I am, or am I the one supposed to ask? Am I supposed to ask you that question?" She said, "Sorry, sir." So I said, "I am fine." She said, "What's the name of what you were teaching those children?" And I said, "Taekwondo." She said, "Please, sir, I would like to join." I said, "Okay, you need to tell your parents, and then you will find a way through the school authority to register and all of that." Now, these are two children in the same school, different approaches. Now, I have seen this as a coach. Now I know how to bring them up. Like I always tell people when I talk to parents, I say there are times you have two different children. There are children that you will tell, "Sit here, don't move." They will. And you also have another set of children that you will tell them, "If you leave this place, I'm going to beat you, I'm going to do this and that." That's when they will obey. The main reason or the goal for you is to achieve, the goal for you to achieve is for them to sit down, but the methodology is different. That's how children are, and that's where sport comes in. As coaches, we look at children, we see what their strengths are, we see what areas we need to work on, we see how we need to train them, we see how we need to discipline them. And for me, as a person, I tell my children, my students, when we are training, we mean business. After classes, we become friends because I'm trying to achieve certain aims and objectives in their lives. I look at the pace of training. I divide my classes into different sections, and I train everybody according to their ability because I'm trying to build something. There is an end goal for me training these children, and that's what sport brings to children. Number three, Sport gives them self-confidence. And permit me to be a bit biased here. I would recommend martial arts for every parent. As much as sport is good, martial arts has what we call the tenets. For Taekwondo, we have what we call the tenets of Taekwondo. The first one is courtesy. Respect for your teachers, respect for your seniors, respect for your equals. When you come and you are late, you start running, you don't stroll to the training ground. That's courtesy. You have acknowledged that you are late, and that's why you are running. When you get to the dojang, that's the place where we train, is called the dojang, you bow and greet your instructor or whoever is taking the class at that point, and the person in turns bow to you. That's courtesy. Now, if you want to do anything, you take permission from whoever is training you. So courtesy is one of our tenets. The next one is integrity. We don't tell lies. And I also go further to tell them that if I ask you to do something, even when I am not looking, do it rightly. Don't pretend about it. Don't fake it. That is integrity. The next one is perseverance. Even when you are tired, tell yourself, I can still do it. I can push. One more. I can still go one more. Perseverance is one of our tenets. I know when you are tired and I know when to give you a break. Sometimes I allow you to push yourself beyond your limit. The next one is self-control. I've heard parents say, oh, my child is too active. By the time they start doing taekwondo now, they will beat this person. They will no. There's what is called self-control. We teach self-control. I've been in a situation where I sat down and somebody parked their car wrongly, and that space could take like 3 cars. Only him blocked the whole place. So I approached him and I greeted him. Good morning, sir. Please, sir, are you the one that parked this car here? He said, yeah. I said, please, sir, can you repark? Because this place can take other cars. And there was just an outburst. You're stupid. You are an idiot. I have a 25-year driving experience. Who are you to talk to me? And so on and so forth. And I sat down quiet. Nobody even knew that he was talking to me. Self-control. And the last one is the indomitable spirit. You should not allow anybody to put you down. Speak up for yourself because you have confidence. So this is one of the reasons why I always recommend martial arts, even if you will do other sports. Let this one be the one that shapes your children. Somebody like Ibrahimovic, a footballer, some of us would know him. He has a black belt in taekwondo, or he plays football as a professional. So we need to have this wired into us because taekwondo will train your children, make them better. Other sports are good. Other sports have their own. One of the things that other sports have are discipline, commitment, dedication. But for martial arts, there is specificity in the things that your children are taught. And martial arts are very good for your children because it helps them to build every part of their body. Even when it comes to intelligence, it helps them to build because there's what we call fight intelligence. You know when to strike, you know how to avoid a strike, you know when to approach, you know what to say to get. I'll tell people most times that even what you say, like the Bible will say, is soft answer, thorns away wrath. How you speak is part of self-defense, how you defend yourself. So sometimes you can speak your way out of trouble. Somebody is angry with you, and instead of you trying to explain yourself, oh, I am sorry, and I promise it will not repeat itself again. That's self-defense. You need to go and fight. So don't think martial artists are people that engage in fighting all the time. No, that's a very wrong notion about martial arts. These are things that your children can learn from sports. Sporting is not just exercising. Every Saturday, I take my children to a particular place to go and work out. I take my child here. I take my daughter here. I take my son here to go and work out. No, there is more to learn. there is more that sports can give you. And so every time you expose your children to sports, it is an opportunity for you to train them. It is an opportunity for you to give them that training that they need. Ethics also, you learn that. Some children, like I had a child then that I was training. So she came and I asked her to sweep the dojang. She couldn't sweep. It was the mother that now picked the broom. I said, no, ma, you cannot do this. Aside the fact that we are training them, they also need to learn morals and ethics. When the place is dirty, they should know how to clean the place up. So this is very, very important in training children these days, where we have parents that so love their children, in quotes, and make them go bad. It is in the place of sports that they can learn. I remember an incident. A woman brought her daughter. She's on the big side, and she said that the daughter is big and she wanted the daughter to slim down. Now, when you ask the daughter to do a little exercise, she will come and interfere. She will say, no, she cannot do it. You know, she's still a child. She is this and she is that. So you can imagine learning morals. Parents most times interfere. So when it comes to the place of sports, you'll be able to control that. These days, you hear in schools that you don't flog children. We've seen situations where parents go to schools to fight children. So in the sporting arena, we don't beat children. We just make them do extra exercises. And then when they are done, you ask them, do you know why I asked you to do either this push-up or why I asked you to run 2 times around this place? And they say no, you tell them. And so for Taekwondo, if you face a punishment, by the time if for example, you're asked to do 5 push-ups or 10 push-ups, when you get up, you bow to your instructor, whoever is giving you that punishment, and say thank you. Or you say take one. So we'll tell you, do you know why you were asked to do this? You said no, or you say yes. Okay, so don't do it again. Morals are taught in the place of trainings. So another thing we look at is how to overcome adversities. A lot of people are prone to giving up. Very easy to give up. But when it comes to the place of sports, we teach you resilience. We teach you that there is a goal you must achieve. If you give up halfway, you have not achieved that goal. And so the belt system in Taekwondo or other martial arts is one of the things that we do. I have my people that I am going to promote to the next belt in December. I already bought those belts and I've showed them, this is your next goal. This is your next target. What am I trying to do to them? I'm trying to create a picture that it is not over. Do not rest where you are. There is a proverb in the Nupe tribe. I won't say it in Nupe now, but he says that if a town assumes that it is far, there is another town ahead of it. So it is that if I say, for example, I hold a 7-degree black belt, like the moderator said, I am beginning to be scared. But there are still 2 other belts that I need to achieve, which I am working towards. So you see why I will not rest until I have gotten them. The next one will be due in 2 years' time. And the other one coming up will take another 8 years for me to achieve. So let me talk a little. So I think the network. Okay. The black belt grading system for Taekwondo, your 1st-degree black belt will take you, before it used to be 2 years to get your 2nd-degree black belt, but now it is 1 year to get your 2nd-degree black belt. Now, from your 2nd-degree black belt to your 3rd-degree black belt will take you another 2 years interval. Now, from the 3rd to the 4th will take you another 3 years. You take note of the word another. It is not a continuation. Now, from your 3rd to your 4th will take you another 3 years. And so you imagine how long you have to train. Imagine how long you have to be consistent. So it teaches us to be consistent. It teaches us not to give up. It teaches us that there is more land to be conquered. So this is what sport does for us. The apex of everybody that practice sports is the Olympics and World Championships. So you dream about that. Just a while ago, I was talking to one of our grandmasters, and I told him, I said I told myself when I became a black belt in Taekwondo, that I have a goal. Either I go to the Olympics or I become a grandmaster. And he laughed and said, what an ideology, what a decision. Today, yes, I am a grandmaster because I said something back in the years. And so sports help us to set goals. Academics also does that, but you see, for sports, it is practical. That means that you are engaged in it. Not these days where we see parents try to give one or two gifts to teachers just to make sure that their children, you favor them. This one is practical. You do it. It's wired. Neurologically, it is wired. So anything that passes through your brain, it doesn't leave your brain. You may not remember it until something triggers it. And that's why you sit down and you begin to think back and you begin to remember some things. It is because something triggered you to remember that. I was sharing recently with somebody that I remember the first time I went out with my dad, and he and his friends, they sat in a restaurant and they ordered food, and I was asked to come and eat. And I said, my mommy asked me not to eat outside. So when I remembered it, I was laughing. This is my dad here. But because this is what my mom has said to me, so it is registered in my head that no. So when children are exposed to sport, there are things that they learn that is wired into them. I remember a movie that came out in 1989. Everybody that does Taekwondo has seen that movie. It's called The Best of the Best, Philip Ree and his brothers. When they went for camp, they were told for the next 3 months, no drinking, no alcohol, no womanizing, and so on and so forth. So it has registered. It is Taekwondo that has wired me to the point where, I'm sorry to say, even though I tell people it takes the grace of God, but partly Taekwondo's discipline has made me to not be promiscuous, because I took in that lesson, hook, line, and sinker. I have trained my life because of what I have learned, and it is part of what I still teach my students today. There are principles that you must follow. Even though you see that there are a lot of researches here and there, always learn that there are morals, there are ethics. If you want to excel, you must practice every day. These days we have school interfering, so it's just mostly Saturdays that children have time to train, and then during holidays. And even at this, you see parents still drawing back. You owe these children a duty to enroll them in sports. You owe them a duty to put them in one sport or the other. Education is not enough. Just like I mentioned earlier, everybody is crazy about IT, and all that. I want to do an IT course. Because IT is high paying. But do you know that sport pays higher than IT? So put your children in sports so that they become better at what they do. Another thing we want to look at is community engagement or socialization. I have a new student. Last Saturday, she came in, and that was her training with us. And she came in, and the first thing she asked was the person she trained with last. And she was like, where is Brian? I said, oh, Brian hasn't come yet. So you can see that she's already socializing. Now you meet with people when you train. You have people that you socialize with, background mix, and knowledge is shared, interactions, there's connection when you engage in sports. Some will tell you, this is what I plan to become, this is what I want to hire in the other one. Another thing about sports is that it inspires the future generation. I've mentioned that earlier. We see people like Anthony Joshua, who is his role model. He had Muhammad Ali, he had Mike Tyson as people that he looked up to. Mike Tyson looked up to Muhammad Ali, that there was somebody that he fought. The person beat Muhammad Ali, and then Mike Tyson was out on a vengeance mission because he beat my role model. Even though we are not teaching people about fighting, but what we are saying is, in essence, is that they look up to people. So when you excel, a whole generation is tied up to you. People look up to you. I want to be like this person. I want my life to be modeled after this person. People like Tiger Woods, people like in the martial arts world, people like Bruce Lee, people like Chuck Norris that passed on recently. Chuck Norris started Taekwondo from the United States of Americans Army when he went to Korea. That's where he started it. And he has trained a lot of people. Chuck Norris trained with people like Bruce Lee and all that. So you see that there is engagement, there is cultural mix, there is tolerance, and all. In sports, religion is not a barrier. Culture is not a barrier. We become one. We discover that when Nigeria is playing football, everybody throw aside their religious differences and we embrace ourselves as a nation. Just like an incident happened back some years back, I'll quickly say that somebody hit somebody's car from the back and they were begging this person, please forgive this person and all that. He said never. But when he went to the back of this person's car and he saw the logo of a football club that he belonged to, and was like, are you a supporter of this club? And the person said, yes, okay, you can go. So you see what sports can do. Inspiring future generation, bringing people together. Another thing is that sport promotes a healthy lifestyle. This is very, very key in raising children. How? These days you see children as young as they are having high blood pressure, having high blood sugar because of the things that they eat. At a tender age, when a child's organ is not properly formed, we say we love these children and we begin to give them things that their body cannot assimilate. This becomes a problem. The organ is not fully matured. You say, I love a child that is maybe 2 years because the child is eating. I love this child so much. You start giving them things like shawarma and the rest. Because you love your children, pizza and coke. I'm not condemning any food. I'm not saying any food is bad. I'm only just giving instances. So by the time they start engaging in sports, their body starts developing, and some of these things that are supposed to form a blockade in their systems is being pushed down. Sometimes, I'll give you an instance, when somebody is having issues with indigestion, not able to go to the toilet, the person can do sit-ups. And this will help the person compress the stomach. Before you know what's happening, the person goes and pass whatever it is. So sports promotes healthy lifestyle. People that do sports, we don't ask them to take alcohol. So you see that sports is very important for the child's development because sports promotes health in the life of every child. It is very, very important also to note that aside the health benefits, I think recently, again, in the school where I started teaching Taekwondo, the parents, I was invited to their PTA meeting and the parents saw the need why they should be engaged in sports, in exercise this time. And some of them said, oh, I would like to do Taekwondo also. It's not just our children alone. It's because they are beginning to understand what impact sports has in the life of many of them, because I was able to teach them sitting down for a very long time is not good for your spine. Sometimes you get up and you're feeling pains at the back of your spine because you have been sitting on your tailbone for a very long time. Some of us can sit for 3 hours, 4 hours, seeing a movie. As you grow up, it is not good for you. So you train. We give children exercises when you go home, do this, do that. I would ask you when you come back next week because I want to see improvement. You know, it helps them to be active, it helps them to be fully engaged. No child doing martial arts or any sports will go out to go and hurt any other child that is there. So it is very important that we learn these things as parents. Sports is different from exercise. Sport is very powerful. Sports has a whole lot, and I can go on and on and on to tell us a whole lot about sports. Then, the next thing I want to talk about, the impact of sports, is on the mental health of a child. Martial arts, basketball, football, and all helps you to think on the go. So sometimes when people come and they're telling me something and they just feel like, you're not worried about this. No, I am not dwelling on the problem. I am looking at the solution already. So when you are, for example, sparring somebody, when you fight somebody, we'll call it sparring. When you're sparring somebody, you don't wait for the person to hit you before you think of how to avoid it or what to do. So it helps you mentally to think. It helps you to be mentally alert. So when you are in class, after you have participated in sports, for example, somebody, a footballer, passes a ball to the other person. He doesn't think of how to trap the ball and move on. He's thinking of how to get the ball and take the next action. So mentally, sports, helps us to think on the go. So it is very, very important for our mental health, for my children's mental health. It's the children saying, this is what you should do. This is how you should do it, go about it. Why is that so? Because their mental health is worked. And I tell children also, aside from me holding pads for them to kick and punch, I ask them to hold pads. And when I ask them to hold pad, I tell them the reason why I'm asking you to hold this pad is so you can time a kick. You can time it. What am I doing? I'm trying to create a mental alertness for them. This is one of the things that sports does in raising children, impactful children, shining children that will shine, children that will not only just be there, children that will make impact in life. So sport is very important for this purpose. Most of us do not know that sport can help children in mental build-up. Check a lot of people that have done sports over time. You discover that a lot of them have been successful. And then when you add sports to education, you see that we have a lot of Nigerian footballers who have made money over time, and after some time, they are not able to manage their resources. A lot of them have gone bankrupt. A lot of them have entered into debts here and there because they did not know how to manage their resources. So education is good, sport is also good. So when you marry both of them together, the person becomes unstoppable. You see people like Kanu Wankwo, you see people like JJ Okocha, they are graduates and they've been able to manage their resources. Those that were not able to manage their resources, you see that a lot of things starts to happen to them. So I always tell my children when I'm training them, you must be serious with your academics and the sports. So it is something that you must give. Like what I normally say, pray as if your life depend on it. Walk also as if your life depend on it. So I tell them, train as if your life depends on it. Practice also as if your life depends on it. At this point, I'm going to add something before I continue with the impact of sport. I had a parent that enrolled in my academy and I was training the child. And as the child, in fact, two of his children, each time I asked them, do this, because after training, I send videos, because I have a group where I send video, please show this to your children. So I was talking to the man and I said, please, the videos that I send out, do you show them to your children? And his response was funny. Why am I paying you? Why am I paying you? I was going to tell him that you pay school fees for your children in school, right? And they still give them homework to come and do. So why don't you ask the school to stop? But I felt that it wasn't necessary. This is where self-control comes to play. So you must see that martial arts and sports form this character for us. Discipline is very important. Self-control is very important. I like to repeat the things that I've said for those people that may join late, so that you know that we've said a little about the impact of sports. The next impact of sports, self-confidence. Self-confidence. People have low self-esteem. There is a way parents talk to children. You talk them down. Even our anchor scripture says train up, not train down. Sometimes it is in the place of sports that these children find a way to express themselves. And may I interject, please also look at the coach that you expose your children to. It is also very, very important, because what the parents do at home, some of these coaches also do it in the training ground. So you must also take note of, who am I exposing my children to? As much as we are talking about the impact, I like to put caveats for everything that I say, so that you don't just take it hook, line, and sinker and say, okay, this is what he said, and then you go and make a mistake like I did some years back. I was listening to a message, and that's why I tell preachers, be careful how you preach to people. Some people are sitting on the fence, so that they don't fall on the wrong side of the fence. I heard something and I took it up, and in the long run, I didn't like the outcome. So I now had to start on learning to relearn. It is very important who you expose your children to. Train up. Try to look at your children. Try to see who, before you even enroll them in any sports, engage them. What I do for people who come to me to register, I try to engage them. Sometimes I ask, why do you want to do taekwondo? Let me know if it is the parent that is pushing or the child that is pushing. And then when they are done, I give them 2 videos to go and watch. And when they are done, they come back to me to come and analyze. I always make sure that the parents watch the video with them, or find time for them to watch it alone. Come and analyze. Tell me what you notice, what problems do you see, what inspired you, and all that. By the time they are done, they go back home, no matter how small they are. I tell them, either we do it orally or we do it written. Tell me what your goals are. Tell me what your visions are. Tell me where you see yourself in a few years' time from now. So I am very particular and meticulous about this process. Everybody that has enrolled under me, I have a file for them where I keep these documents, and I always remind them, each time anybody is getting tired, remember your goal. It is very important because it is documented. And so, having said that, let's go back. The last point I mentioned was mental alertness, then self-confidence. One who is able to express themselves. One who is not afraid to stand anywhere because they know who they are. A lot of children have identity crisis. This also goes to parents. Most of us do not even know who we are. We have allowed life to box us. We've allowed life to push us. So it is other people's definition of who we are that we carry. So sporting will make you know who you truly are. Just like I had a teacher back in school. He was the math teacher. Each time the English teacher is teaching us, he will come to the window and we say, all that you are saying is a lie, because they are friends, and we will look at him. He said, you will not understand. In mathematics, if you are not getting it, you know that you are not getting it. But for English, you will not know whether you are getting it right or not. That is why he likes mathematics. So also is sports. Football, for example, if you don't score, you know you did not win. You will not need anybody to tell you that you did not perform to expectation. You failed, you lost the match, just like those people that love football. I think Arsenal just won the trophy, and many of them are saying that for how many years now Arsenal has not won, and this is the first time they are doing that in several years. I am not a football fan. I'm a martial arts fan anytime, any day. That's my number sport. But then you see that sports, and then you look at people. Sometimes you see people bringing analysis, and you ask them, where are they getting some of these things from? 22 years, no trophy, and now there's a trophy, there's history, and all that. So you see that sport is not just physical, it is educational also. You can do sport commentary. There's a career path in sports, which will be the last thing that I'm going to say before my time elapses. Self-confidence, self-worth, realizing who you are at every point in time. As one who is a martial artist, you know yourself. Just like when you bring a leopard and a dog and you ask them to come and run, the leopard has nothing to prove. That's just the truth. Whether it takes part in that race or not, it has nothing to prove. Like the Bible says, a man who can control himself is stronger than a man who can take over the whole city. When you know yourself, you know your self-worth, self-control becomes very easy. For example, as a martial arts, I look at somebody, I know so many places that I just need to hit and the person will just sit down. So why would I do that when I know that that could result in death? I need to employ what? Self-control, because I know what I can do. So I don't need to prove a point. So even if I walk away, there is nothing to prove to that person. I remember an incident that happened. I went to pick up a letter from these people in the park, and the person didn't tell me that I needed to pay for it. So I got there, I collected the letter, and the person said, you are going to pay. So I said, okay, let me call the person who sent. Just that, the guy has pulled his shirt and he was going to fight me. So you can imagine me smiling already. And I said, hold on. I didn't say I won't pay you. Let me call and find out if there is a money to pay you, then I will give you the money. So you can imagine if there was no self-control, maybe I'll be inside prison or inside a police cell for hitting somebody. So self-control, self-worth, self-discipline is what you get. So for other sport, basketball, football, and all that, they are good. But just like I mentioned, I always recommend martial art because you learn a whole lot doing martial arts. It is very, very important that every child should learn martial art for self-control, for discipline, and self-worth. Now, I'll go to the next point. I've mentioned physical fitness, health. Time management is the academic, leadership, ability, another thing. When you are able to carry out a task, for example, you are asked to punch, and then you punch, and then you are corrected, you take correction. That's leadership, because you are telling yourself, oh, I'm not doing it well. Let me do it this way. Leadership is not until you start to lead people. The first point of a leader is to be able to lead yourself. So you learn leadership from sports. How? I've mentioned one. When you come and others are not yet there, you start to practice. Even when you are at home, you are alone, you begin to practice. Is leadership. Another thing is coping skill, resilience and coping skills. A lot of parents spoon feed their children. I tell people sometimes that there's something my mom did when I was young, and I loved it so much. She wasn't following me everywhere I went, but she knew everywhere that I was going to. And what she did was behind me, she made friends with these people. So whatever I do, in the hope that she is not seeing me, she will ask these people. And these times there were no mobile phones. They will tell her. And then she will say, you did like this, you did like that. So it became a watchword for me that there's an eye on me everywhere that I go. So it is very important for us to understand that you can cope when you know how to manage yourself in the sporting arena. And then lastly, because my time is almost up, I mentioned something about career paths. From an athlete, you can become a coach. We've seen people like Daniela Mokachi, Sunday Olise, and other people becoming coach. Siasia, for example, also is a coach. And if you go to National Stadium in Abuja, he has an academy here and his wife that he's running where he grooms people. So there's a career path. Coaching is one of them. Sport medicine is another one of them. The list goes on and on. And so with that, I will tell us in conclusion that sports is pivotal in raising children. Sport is important to train children. It is not just book all the time. Instead of taking them to playgrounds to go and play, you can make the sporting arena their playground where they have fun, where they exercise, and that way they'll be impacting themselves. It's not you go to Wonderland today, you go to Domino's tomorrow. These things, I'm not saying they are bad, but let sports be part of what they do. And I would like to stop here for want of time. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you so much, sir. We are really grateful. And I think there's a question here for you. Said, where is your base? So can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, someone is asking a question. Where is your base?
Okay, where I train
Yes.
in
Yes.
Caro.
Okay, Carol, can you be more specific?
Yeah, Primus Hospital. That's where we use for now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Madam Oboko, are you ready?
Sorry?
Okay.
Good evening once again, everyone. Sabon, I salute. Well done, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for putting us through this, for teaching us this evening. We have a comment. Wow, wow, beautiful, so much light. Didn't think this much about sports. I'm so happy to hear this. Thank you so much. So, um, Mrs. Ibose is saying thank you. She didn't know this was much. I believe a lot of us don't. Um, I don't think that mindset that some of us grow with, that people who do sports were people who were not intelligent or who didn't want to be useful in life. I believe all of that is dying and going off now, knowing that there's so much in sports. Thank you for giving us the statistics and telling us that sports now can fetch you good monies. But beyond that, our children need to be exposed to exercises. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah,
You're
the impacts of
welcome.
sports. Recently, not quite long, I met somebody who told me he's a sports. There's a way he put it, but he's a lawyer that works with only athletes. What he
Okay.
studied is his own practice of law. He didn't study in Nigeria, was how to work with. So he works with athletes. So not just their managers, but he is their lawyer. That was the way he coined the name. It was my first time hearing it, and I was like, wow. So there's also a career path, and even beyond that, he said he's a basketballer. He plays basketball. That was the sports he played, but he went to the university to study law
Yes.
in the US or
Yes.
in the UK. But he worked with an academy and all of that, so he went into law, and the area of law he
Yes.
studied just leads him to the parts where his clients are basically athletes. So this career path,
Okay.
there's so much to it. You can be an athlete,
Yes.
an athlete. You can be a coach.
There's a whole lot of career paths to sports, because most times we think that doing sport is exercise. That's the difference. You need to understand that sport is not exercise. There are a whole lot. We could hold a seminar on career paths, you know, because, for example, a martial artist, for example, knows about the human anatomy. That's fundamental to medicine.
Hmm.
So it's very important that people know the human body system. You see that in football matches, you see that we have medical doctors on the sideline.
Yes.
Now, aside being coaches, for example, in Taekwondo, you can go and become an international referee, traveling all around the world, officiating matches. But you first of all must be a player
Hmm.
to know the rules. So there's a whole lot of career paths when it comes to sports. It's just people just see it like, thank God that these days our parents are beginning to understand. During our days, you go and play football and then there's dust on your leg. You know what awaits you?
Oh goodness me. Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So I believe we are learning. We are learning. Even sports analysts, you believe agree with me that the people who do so well in sports analysis are people who have participated in sports. They go far
Yes,
in that area
yes,
too.
yes. You must know
So
about it before you are able to
before you
analyze.
can analyze, yes. So I've been privileged to attend a few sporting events, one which he made me attend, and it was also an eye opener that day to the lots of things we saw, that there is
Yes,
actually a career path to
yes,
sports. Also, the little I have also seen in basketball, because I have a son who also plays basketball. In fact, two who play basketball, is that there's a whole see. It's there's so much to it. So thank you so much, sir, for bringing this. Please, if you have your questions, please drop it. I know I call him Coach Austin, the one that can pronounce without making mistake. But I hope I pronounce it well, Coach EGHOSA.
yes, yes. That's
Thank
correct.
you. So he is a good coach. I can tell you for a fact. And thank you so much, Pauline. You said, though I came late, but I got a lot. Beautiful. Then Reverend Cosby said, this is very good stuff. Thank you so much, Coach Ehosa. So I like the fact that you said something about not just because you're hearing this and then you think any coach can be your child's coach or any academy.
Yes.
Just the way you go
Yeah.
looking for schools and you are looking out for a particular thing about a school, that's the same way you should also pay attention when looking for a coach for your child or when looking for an academy for your child. Also pay attention to success rates in those
Yes.
places. Not just go and because they say they gather. You need to make your inquiries too and be sure that it's truly a professional that's handling your child. I had a case like that and he knows about it.
Yes.
You have to be very sure that it's not, please, if possible, they should show you what qualifies them to do what they do or run an academy. You can always check
Yeah.
with the sports commission. Am I correct? You can always check with
Yeah,
sports commission if they are
firstly, it
registered.
is very important that you, let me give you an instance. I think I came to the training ground one day because I made sure it's a policy for me. That's one of the things I talked about, time management. none of my student gets to the dojang before me. I am always there
Still,
because I
I'm a
deal with
witness.
children. So when I came in, I saw a pack of cigarettes close to the dojang. So before the children came, I quickly discarded it so that they won't even see it, let alone asking, what is this?
True.
So safeguarding is very important. And that's why I said, watch who you give your children to. It is
True.
very important. You've experienced it, so it's not something that will say. It's very, then if you are going to, please as a coach, or can I see any of your certification? For me now,
True.
my academy is registered with CAC. I have an international grandmaster certification already. And also, can we see some of these things? Know who, because out of hunger, not out of passion, you see people opening sports academy because they said, okay, there's a career path. And then they become wolves preying on you and your children.
True. All right. So I have a question for you, sir. I know you are in
Okay.
Abuja, you are in Karo side. But
Yes.
for people who are outside Abuja, like I also know that in Abuja, one of the big hubs is in the stadium. Please, can you tell us, in other states, where can we go to and look out for some of these academies? Because I believe not all
Okay.
of us are here in Abuja. Of course, people are watching us from every part of the world and also from different parts of Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for that, I can speak for Taekwondo because that's my
Okay.
area of specialty. I would ask that they reach out to you while you reach out to me and let me know the states so I can recommend to them because we
Okay.
have a body of coaches, other
Okay.
grandmasters and black belters that I can recommend that they can go to.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. But okay, even if I'm not doing you're talking about taekwondo. I know that that's your. I know you can talk about
Yes,
taekwondo for the next
that's
24
the one
hours.
that I can
I
guarantee you
usually
of a
do.
coach. But
But
mostly, if it's other sports, I think if you go to the stadiums, it is
in your
safe.
state,
It's safe because before you have a stand in the stadium, you must have some pedigree before they will allow you
true,
to use their facility because it's a
true.
dent on their image. So don't just go to any roadside person. So for safety, I would recommend that if you are in any states, you want to do any sport, please look for their sports event center or the stadium generally and just go there and enroll. It's better that way to be safe.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. So we've had it. In case you're looking for and you're not sure what to do, walk into the stadium in your state or the government sports facility in your state and ask questions. You're likely going to see. I told you, coach, I told you this now the last time we met that I didn't know to the extent which things were happening in the stadium until I started entering there. That's when I knew that there are lots and lots of sports. So please, the stadium in your state is not only for football. The main bowl is just one part of the stadium. The main bowl is one part of the stadium. You can go around and see what is happening in the stadium, and you will be amazed, and you also be shocked how far your children have been missing in things they can do. Once again, sir, one more question. Do we have questions? So how do I know the area my child is interested in sports? How do I determine that?
Okay, for firstly, you must try to understand the child.
Okay.
You must firstly, sometimes some people just say, my child is restless, my child is this. No, try to interact with the child. Sometimes you can put, these days our problem is cartoon, 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 cartoon everywhere. You want to make the children watch cartoons and all that. So that doesn't really bring out their area of interest. Sometimes take them out, like I mentioned, take them to the stadium, take them around events and watch them and see how they respond. Television is not enough. Let them be there physically. You can take them to the football pitch. We know every male child is a potential footballer. Yes, we know. Take them to maybe basketball courts, watch them. Sometimes, if there's an extra basketball, give them and see what they do with it. Take them to the volleyball courts, take them to the tennis place, badminton, table tennis, and watch. I've seen a situation of two boys that, in fact, a foreigner saw them. They were so good at playing table tennis, but the parents were not there. They give them things to go and hawk. So when they go to where this table tennis is, they pack their things and they start playing. So a white lady saw them and she took interest in them and she was ready to train them, but the parents didn't allow her. So you see, exposing them, taking them to sports, like some of my parents these days, they do taekwondo, which is very funny because I tell them, okay, they've seen what their children are learning and they be like, okay, I want to do taekwondo. I say, it's okay, it's not a problem. The only thing I will tell you is that I cannot teach you how to go and fight in a competition now, but I can teach you how to defend yourself and I can teach you how to be fit. So your training will be different. But when we are doing general training, you will partake of the general training. Then I'll take you on specific trainings. It's like that. So take these children on a walk. Go to some parents, they don't even do exercise in the first place. So how do you introduce your children to sports? Take them to where people do sports. Stadium is a very good place. I understand proximity. Sometimes your places might be far from the stadium. That is given. But look for sports places where people work out. Aerobics is not enough. Where other sports are, take them there, watch them. Daddy, see, mommy, see, do you like this sport? You talk to the coach. Can we see if my child likes this sport or would want to? You tell them, allow them. That's how you get their interest and know what they really want. And sometimes they might be slow. It's like that with all sports. When you start, sometimes they don't really know what they are doing in the sports. But later on, they pick. I know of a girl that's in my academy. She's been doing taekwondo for about 3 years and she's still a white belter. So by the time she came in, I sat with her. After talking with her, I started training her. She has improved a lot in the space of 2 months. So it's you exposing them. That's just the bottom line of everything. Take them to, or don't force a sport on them. Do you like this sport? Like most children likes martial arts because they say it's Chinese, Bishan. Let them experience it and see. That's how it is. Some may be footballers, some may be basketballers, volleyballers, and all that. Just allow them to explore, allow them to see, and then allow them to pick.
Okay, our time is fast spent. Another question comes to head. Martial arts. I know that taekwondo is not the only martial art. Please, can you run us through other martial arts? I know that taekwondo is one. Other
Yeah,
martial
there
arts.
is there is kung fu, there's karate, there's
Okay.
judo,
Okay.
there's mixed martial arts. Okay, sorry, I think the network. There is, like I said, there's karate, there's taekwondo, there's judo, there is sambo. We have martial arts that are specific to certain region. There's Muay Thai. The list goes on and on. There's Krav Maga and so many other martial arts. Now, the reason why taekwondo is very popular is because it's an Olympic sport. Of all martial arts, taekwondo is one that has been accepted in the Olympics. And the scoring system is not one that will hurt you because taekwondo is 60% leg and 40%. And the difference between some people are confused about karate and taekwondo. Karate is 60% hand, 40% leg, while taekwondo is 60% leg, 40% hand movement. So we kick more with the legs, and there is a scoring system approved by the Olympics, and that's why taekwondo is popular. And I will be biased. I love taekwondo with a passion because for me, it is an all-round martial art. As much as the other parts that have been censored out of, like the use of elbow, knee, that other martial arts practice, These ones have been removed from the Olympic because of the danger that it poses to the human body. You can use
Okay.
that to defend yourself outside. So Taekwondo is well-rounded, well-researched. Of all martial arts, Taekwondo is well-researched. The study for Taekwondo is huge. And because we have a lot of people, professors, like one of our grandmasters, the first three
Yeah.
people that were given black belts in Nigeria, is a PhD holder. He has done a lot of research. He's called Grandmaster Ikpeme. A lot
The
of
one you
other people.
introduced to me the last time.
Yes, exactly. He was in Abuja, I think, 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Well rounded. Do you understand? So we must understand that Taekwondo has been properly researched, the health benefits and all. And that is why me, I am passionate. Permit me to be biased about it. I'm not saying other martial arts are bad, but one other good thing about martial arts is you can switch. You can learn other martial arts because you already have a foundation from one. While judo is specialized in throwing down, incapacitating your opponent and all that, taekwondo has that also. So you see why I said I am in love with it. It has every aspect built into it. So it's a complete martial art. It's taekwondo means the way of the hand and feet. So how you use your hand and your feet. So the throwdowns that are in judo, Krav Maga, and the rest, you have them in taekwondo. If you go broader, so there's traditional taekwondo and there's sports taekwondo. Other martial arts, some that you've not heard, there's Stilat, there's Aikido, the one that Steven Seagal practices. There's so many like that. There are some that is just a party. There's Capoeira, the one done in Japan and Brazil, like it's like dancing. Some of them you may never hear their names, you know. So, but the most popular of them all is Taekwondo.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, if you're a school owner, in fact, left for me, I will encourage every parent to engage their children in martial arts.
Yeah,
Correct me
schools
if
are
I'm wrong.
beginning to embrace Taekwondo now because
Martial arts and swimming are more of life skills. I will encourage parents to the best you can encourage send your children for martial art training and swimming. Even if they won't do sports, even if they won't take it beyond they
yes.
won't take it as a career. It's
Mm-hmm.
a life skill. The best you can, please. That's my I don't know.
So
You're a
yes.
professional. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, no, no,
For
no.
me, I
Even
encourage every
most of the
school.
parents online, there was a time that I think it's the chief of army staff that said everybody should learn how to defend themselves.
True.
So it's a life skill that
School.
can make you get it's in fact not just children, even parents, it can get you out of any situation because self-defense, you know what bone or joints to twist and get yourself out of a situation. And there was this video that went viral of, I think it was, is it, what do they call these guys in Lagos? These environmental people that had somebody's hand up and the person couldn't come out of it. And it went viral. So it was something we discussed on the Blackbird platform and we were all laughing, something that you could get out of easily. And the person was just flipping up and down and couldn't do anything. So martial arts is a life skill. In fact, it's a life skill that must be halved, that we must possess rather, no matter how old you are. And this is a culture in Korea today. I have a video of people that are 83, 85, 87, going back to learn martial arts to keep fit and to be able to defend themselves. So it's very important. And this also would help our hearts to work well. Some of us that have been redundant, we just sit at home. You go to work, you sit from morning till evening inside the air condition. You enter your car, air condition. You get home, air condition. You know, this cold that is getting into your body keeps your organ still. But by the time you engage in sports, it wakes them up and keeps them alive. So it is very important. If you think I want to be fit, do it with a benefit. That's what I always say. Don't just do exercise without a benefit. I am doing exercise and I'm also learning how to defend myself.
Thank you so much, sir. You see, this do exercise with the benefit is one of his lines. Whenever we come in, exercise with benefits, whichever part of your body is paining you now that we are doing it, know that it is that part that needs to be worked on. Oh, coach, we do us something that year, do us something that time. Thank you so much. I tell you, Coach Austin, Coach EGHOSA is a coach you should have. Please, if you are around Abuja, you have a school, please reach out to him. Please, your socials before we go. How do we reach you? Your socials. Our time is fast spent. The
Uh,
next session is by 6 p.m. Your
okay.
socials, how we can reach you? Yes, sir.
Yes, my LinkedIn is my name. It's just my surname, Idwoze, and an extra A. That's my surname that you can see there. It was a EA. Then my Instagram is still the same thing. Then if you want to reach via the academy Instagram, it's CZTKD Academy.
Please spell. Okay.
TKD Academy.
Okay.
Then if my personal one is it was the IDUOZEE, a triple E now, not double now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for doing this for us. Just before you give your final word, 6 p.m. is the next session. Now we are talking health. Another aspect of health. We have talked sports. Now we are having a medical doctor come to talk to us. And the good thing about no conference this year is we're not talking only about our children. She's also going to be talking to us as parents. You need to be healthy to also raise healthy children. Please don't miss that session. We are having Dr. Nubwa, a consultant family physician, come talk to us. Yes, please. That's what the session to be by 6 p.m. Just before we draw the curtain, please your final words, sir.
Okay. So having said all that I have said about sports, I always say start. Do not postpone it. Do not give excuses. The most important thing about anything you want to do is to start. Some of us will, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next tomorrow. I always have this line that I tell people, if I am going to study a course for 4 years, if I start it now, it will take me 4 years. If I start it next year, it will still take me another 4 years. Waiting does not shorten the time. And also, no matter how much of a hurry you are in, 1 minute will always be 60 seconds. You cannot shorten it. So start and start growing from it. That would be my final words. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. So start today, not just hearing tomorrow is good enough. Tomorrow is Saturday. Walk into any of the sports facilities and start making inquiries for your children and for yourself. And if you're around Cairo, please, I'd like you to visit Primus. Go see him. He will be there tomorrow morning. God bless you all for being here. Thank you so much. See you in the next 30 minutes for our next session. God bless you. Bye bye.